You're watching East Village Live, the program we'd like to think keeps its finger on the pulse of what's going on around here. Join us bi-weekly as we travel the streets of Manhattan to a variety of venues for performances, exhibitions in the world of arts. Watch for us. We may be watching you.
Welcome to the Eppsen Museum, but this is not only a museum, this is actually the apartment where Ibsen lived. And I am a guide here at the museum. My name is Birgitte Kirkholm. So Ibsen, he is Norwegian, even though he lived abroad for many years. He was born in 1828 and he died in 1906. So he was 78 years old when he died. And he is famous because he has been called now the father of the modern drama. He created a new way of writing dramas. So he was very successful also when he lived. He wrote 25 dramas, and today these dramas are being played all over the world. And we have, for instance, some Norwegian actress. She's been abroad. In India, for instance, and she has showed some of Ibsen's women, some of the characters from his plays. And now she is also going to the Middle East with these women characters. And we also have, for instance, another instructor. He has been instructing a drama of Ibsen in Africa. So even if it's a long time ago he wrote, it's very much alive today. And we also have an Eppsen festival every year, every second year in Norway. So we had one this year in 1998, and we'll have another one in the year of 2000. And then we have theater groups from the whole world coming here and playing their versions of Ibsen's dramas. And we also have all the time dramas of Ibsen on the stage here in Oslo, and also on other stages in Norway. So it's very much living. Ibsen, he lived abroad from the year when he was 36 years old. He lived in Italy and in Germany for 27 years. And when he returned, he was world famous. And he knew this. He knew that he was the man who had brought the name of Norway around in the world, and he was very conscious about this. But even so, he was very controversial when he was living, and he still is. So even if he experienced the success, he also felt very much to be rejected by many people, because he presented ideas that were very controversial, like women breaking out of marriage, divorce, syphilis, having children outside marriage. These kinds of things were very controversial at the time and still is. So it was not easy for him, this. So after 27 years abroad, he... Too much?
No.
After 27 years abroad, he returned to Norway. And this was a very important year, 1891, because he did not think that he would continue to live in Norway after all these years abroad, but he made a journey up to the north of Norway, and this journey was very pleasant to Ibsen. He liked very much to be in Norway after all these years abroad, 27 years. So he made the decision of returning to Norway and live here for the rest of his life. And then he was 63 years old. So all his great dramas he's written abroad. Then he returned 63 years old, and he lived here until he died in 1906, 78 years old. And now we are in the apartment where he lived in Christiania, which was the name at Oslo before. And this is where he wrote his two last dramas, in 1896, John Gabriel Borkman, and in 1899, When We Dead Awaken. So this is the apartment he lived 11 years, from 1895 until 1906. So this is the place where he stayed the most, because he was moving a lot around in different cities in Italy and in Germany. This is the castle of Oslo, and before there was a park behind the castle, and this was closed. So if you wanted to go for a walk there, you had to get a key. And Ibsen, he was very lucky, because the king, Oscar II, he had given the key to this park to Ibsen, so that Ibsen could walk there on his own. And this meant very much to Ibsen. He liked very much privileges like this. Here we can see the study of Ibsen. On this photo, we have Ibsen himself sitting on his desk. And he normally had a lot of figurines hidden in the drawers in his desk. For instance, this one. And this is an ink pot, a devil. And this gave Ibsen great inspiration when he was writing, because he has said that in my writings there should be devilry. So he used to pick out this figurine from the drawers in his desk and play with it to get inspiration. Ibsen, he used to sit right in front of this window in the last years of his life, because he was partly paralyzed because of several strokes in the end. And so people were coming, especially some actresses from Germany and from Italy. They were coming out here on the street, and they wanted to speak to Ibsen, but they couldn't because he was too sick. So they had to walk by and see him down from the street. And also the people in Oslo at the time, they knew that Ibsen normally could be seen if they passed by the window. So he was kind of a tourist attraction when he was sitting here in front of this window.
I said thanks and bid Birgitta a fond farewell. It was such a beautiful day that I decided to go up to the palace, walking along Karl Johan Gata. The palace sits overlooking Oslo on its highest point. This is Karl Johan, the Swedish king that defeated the Norwegians back in the 15th century. This is the king's palace overlooking Oslo. It's not as impressive as Buckingham Palace, but I wouldn't mind living there. Norwegian guards, royal guards, are not as stoic and tolerant as their British counterparts. In London, the guards are known for their ability to withstand taunts and jeers from onlookers. I decided against that because, one, they're carrying automatic weapons. I thought it wasn't a good time to test their fortitude. It was such a beautiful day. One has to take advantage of the light in Oslo because it only lasts for maybe 4 or 5 hours. The changing of the guards. The old city of Oslo has a skating rink in the middle, so you can go ice skating during the week or on the weekends. Or just walk along Karl Johan Gata and check out some bars or cafes or some of the street musicians that play on the walking street. In fact, tonight we're going to see Jennifer Lawrence, a talented musician I came across on the walking street.
From
Going out of the old city, Oslo has apartment buildings and homes that are built right in nature, and it's very quiet. One can enjoy the peacefulness of it all. A friend that I know from New York that lives in Oslo, Bill Troanni, had invited me to go along with him to one of his friends for a traditional Norwegian Juli. That's kind of like a pre-Christmas party that's done every year. So here we are, going to the Juli.
Yeah. For your friends in New York, Dave, we serve you the appetizers like shrimp, crawfish with avocados,
Yeah, it was delicious.
smushed with
I
a little
love
bit
that.
cream. Okay.
That was good.
But now we start with the main menu. That's if you see down here, it's a mousse that we crush with mushrooms, different mushrooms. Okay.
Wow.
With garlic, with cream sauce, and.
This
Of course,
is this
pepper.
is this is a traditional.
No, traditional. This is like we call in Norway delicatesse.
Delicatesse.
Delicious, you know.
Yeah.
It's very special.
Very good.
And this is what you call in New York. What do you call this?
Brussels sprouts.
You call this rosenkål? Rosenkål?
Brussels sprouts.
Okay, rosenkål.
Okay.
Rosenkål på godt norsk.
Good.
And with cream sauce in the butter, you know.
Yeah, we had that. Oh, gratin.
Yeah, gratin.
Yeah, that's
Potetgratin.
Yeah.
If you know what Norwegian and American is almost the same.
Yeah. Okay. Last night that it was 75 degrees in New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here he is, Bill Troanni, all the way from New York.
Jeg snakker ikke norsk. Just a little bit. Bare litt. You can understand. No? I'm Bill. This is a Norwegian Juli board, right? Juli board?
Yes. Right. He has to ask.
These friends get together every year and do this. And
Tell him what's on the menu here.
we're having avocado with shrimp.
Look at that delicious shrimp.
Lobster, no.
Lobster.
I don't know, something else.
Salad.
Salad? Yeah. Beer? What's
And look,
beer?
they even got real cranberry sauce here.
Tittebar.
Öl.
Beer.
And then plenty of öl.
This is Jul Öl, Christmas beer. Yes. This is a regular beer. Yeah. You can tell it's cold enough to drink because you can see the...
Please take a video of my hurt hand. Of my hand.
This is the hand he almost cut.
There he is, the chef himself.
Yeah.
Molto eccellente.
He's the same. He dance in fucking
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I don't like this.
Why not?
No.
Oh, come on.
You talking about me?
JT,
Again?
you are in here.
Be listening up, my friend.
Here we are.
Where's your whiskey?
I don't drink whiskey.
Here we are, Jade.
What are you drinking? This is whiskey. This is bourbon. Single barrel of bourbon.
Hey, single barrel whiskey.
At the end of lonely street, there's Heartbreak Hotel, yeah. I feel so lonesome, baby. I feel so lonesome. I feel so lonesome I could die.
Dying was what I felt like the next morning. But after a hearty brunch that Helga fixed us, I was almost starting to feel human again. And then it was time to head back to Oslo. Hey, Bill.
These traffic circles are unnerving to me.
The next night was Saturday night. Bill took us to Smuget to see a Swedish band, friends of his, called Knockout Greg and the Punch. So that's our show for tonight. Join us in 2 weeks while we continue our Scandinavian odyssey. This is Dave Barish for East Village Live.